Good evening. Today is Monday, October 14th, 2019. I now call this Fairfield Regular Board of Education meeting to order. Mrs. Lane, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Begley?
Here.
Mr. Birding?
Present.
Mrs. Gundrum?
Here.
Mrs. O'Neill?
Here.
Mrs. Shorter?
Here.
Mrs. O'Neill, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Neill. First item on the agenda is presentations, resolutions. Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Birdie. Mr. Birdie, members of the board, we do have two presentations scheduled this evening. Our first presentation is about a new program titled Lunch It Forward. This time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Smith and Mr. Birdie, members of the board. It's always great to discuss a positive program that will impact our kids, and tonight is going to be one of those programs. Let me talk a little bit about a problem that every school district in the country faces when it comes to school lunch, and that is how we handle situations when students come through a lunch line and they don't have money on their account. And by law, as many people do know, the food service program operates outside of the general fund. So we're a self-sustaining program, meaning that we have to be making some money. We don't borrow money from taxes. It's like for lack of better words, a nonprofit organization within a school. And we do make a little bit of money that covers the cost of the food, covers the cost of employees' wages, and there's a little bit of a balance to replace new equipment. We're not, by law, able to give students a free lunch unless they qualify for a free lunch based off the federal guidelines. So there's always going to be students, and in Fairfield, we're about 60% of our students are paying students, but we live in a busy world. So sometimes students come through our lunch line and they don't have lunch. So how do we handle that? Do we charge the parent and just keep track of that? How many should we charge? Should that be an unlimited amount? Because then we burden our parents at the end of the year with a big bill that they'd have to pay back. It just is a challenge, and every school has faced how we handle that. A lot of schools, and Fairfield's one of these schools, what we do is at some point we provide children an alternative lunch. It still meets the federal qualifications, so it still has a fruit, a vegetable, and a milk. What we do is we trade out the main entree with a peanut butter sandwich or a cheese sandwich if that child were allergic to peanut butter. Not a great conversation to have with a student, and that's usually done after the third charge. Well, we'll charge 3 times, put a balance on the student's account for $10, and then on the 4th time, provide an alternative lunch. No one likes to do that. We've sent messages home, we've called in most cases. They've gotten an electronic alert as well, but for whatever reason, that communication doesn't get home in a timely manner, and the money goes onto the student's account. So on the 4th lunch, what we've done is provided the alternative lunch. That's not easy to do with a first grader. It gets a little easier because the middle school and the high school student usually has a way to get money on their account. They're talking to their parents, they're making sure that money comes in. So the conversations are typically harder at the elementary school. And every year we have the conversation of how to handle this problem. About the same time we're having this conversation this year, I'm introduced to this guy right here, Ted McDaniel. And he was having some conversation with his peers about how to handle this dilemma. And so what he created, and I say he'll talk here in just a minute, I'll turn it over to him, was a program called Lunch It Forward, which is basically going to be implemented to start in our elementary schools. And we are going to be able to provide lunches for students who don't have lunch on their account. After the 3rd lunch, we will charge our parents 3 lunches. But on that 4th lunch, we have a donated Lunch It Forward button. We push on our end. The child doesn't really know. The parent can see it on their end. But that Lunch It Forward fund that he's going to fundraise for will cover that student's lunch in the elementary school. So I'd like to introduce Ted McDaniel to you guys. He's been a great leader in our community and has helped fundraise with a lot of things. But I know he wanted to talk a little bit and maybe even tell us how much money he's going to give us to start out with for this program. It's all yours. Thank you.
Board, thank you. I'd like to thank the members of my board that could make it tonight as well. Are they allowed up?
Yeah.
Okay, if they can come up. We'll give a few minutes for Tiffany. I apologize. Lunch at Ford really started with just an idea one night that I had. Being able to provide for students for the past 18 months, whether it be clothing, shoes, toiletries, whatnot. I knew lunches were important as well, and had paid off some of the lunch accounts throughout the past year at different elementary schools and middle schools as needed and requested by teachers and principals and liaisons. And I was just laying one night thinking, how could I make an impact and help students make sure that they're fed every day and sort of help mitigate out an alternative lunch in a positive way. And I took it to some of my peers, Brittany Fry being one of them, on my board, and she came up with the name Lunch It Forward. And from there, it was like, boom, we got it. And so literally text Billy Smith, said, hey, we got to have a meeting. I got this crazy idea, bring Jeff with you. And, I presented the idea to him. This is about 2 months ago. And here we are. We rolled it out Thursday. We were able to give initially a $2,000 donation to the school district for all of the elementary schools, as well as Recovering Sacred Heart, since they're in the same program. And we've paid up all the negative lunch accounts to make sure that kids, are good, and then basically started from there. And we're fundraising through the community to create this self-sustaining account. And the goal is, as a board of Dougie and Ray's, is to create this self-sustaining community fund that will then support kids with all their school lunches. So every child, no matter what, and I mean no matter what, is going to be able to get a full lunch every day. So if you're that child that forgot their lunch on the bus, you forgot it at home, mom and dad didn't have money, say on Monday or Tuesday, to put the money in because of a bill, a missed shift, something happened, that's okay, we got you covered. We're going to get rid of the nervousness of the kids, and they know they're going to get a meal so they can focus on school, they can focus on being themselves and being a kid and not having that on their plate every day. So it gives me great joy to be able to be in front of you, the board, to say, hey, we're going to help Lunch It Forward and make every child have the ability to have a lunch every day and grow from the elementary schools to the middle schools to the high schools. And basically, maybe we create the playbook that we can then take to other districts and help solve their lunch crisis as well. So, anybody want to say anything? You guys are good? I can't do it without my board, without being able to team up with Jeff and Billy, them taking the time to say, okay, we'll sit down with you, Ted, and let's hear you out, because they could have easily said no, and I could just written checks throughout the year, but let's do something proactive for the kids. Let's take care of them from the get-go. So, I'm proud to be up here and be a community member serving Fairfield, my alma mater, so I'm proud. Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I will cry if I talk too long, because I'm so appreciative and so thankful and so overwhelmed by your generosity. So thank you. How can parents give towards, I know I'm not perfect. I have occasionally forgotten to put money on my kid's account, and I would like to pay it forward. How can I pay it forward?
Well, I'm that same parent, because my son was negative $2.70
Yeah.
Friday when I went, oh my goodness, I got to put money on your account, dude. And I had the ability to do it, which sometimes you don't have that. So parents can go through my website and make a donation. They can go through PayPal, which is actually linked through my website as well. I have Venmo. We can go old school check and cash. We deposit straight at any First Financial. First Financial banks here in Fairfield know that you can walk in and say, I'd like to donate to Lunch It Forward, and they will immediately put the funds in. You can donate at Swine City Brewery as well. They're running an ability to collect and put it in. believe, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to be working on possibly adding that in there. So if you are a parent that you've used it, you can put in, say, $15 in your kid's lunch account and then add in, and it will automatically go into that account housed that, thanking Nancy for creating, her team creating all of those accounts for the different schools, so.
And what is your website?
www.dougieandrays.org, DOUGIEANDRAYS.org.
Thank you.
Mr. McDaniels, thank you very much. Thank you to your board. That's great, what we're doing here. And just very quickly, you've talked about Lunch It Forward, but that's really only one program within several programs that are part of your nonprofit.
Yes.
Which is Dougie and Ray's.
Yes.
Right? That's the name of the nonprofit.
Correct, yeah. So I do back to school, for beginning of back to school, full book bags for kids. So they literally walk in the first day with every single thing on the list that they need. We do Christmas for kids in need and basically get them a full Christmas. So basically the parents, all they have to do is wrap the gifts. They get the boxes, the tape, the wrapping paper, everything. The kids get really good gifts. I try not to shy away from it. We do shoes. This year so far, we've done over 160 pairs of shoes free for kids in the school district. A few hundred, probably close to 300 pairs of socks. Any kind of text or email I get from a district employee or the liaisons or nurses, I take care of those requests by delivering to the schools personally, and then fill nurses' closets as well with whatever emergency clothing or toiletries they need. So pretty much anything that I can do for the kids, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome.
So important for kids. Need more residents like you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Gundrum?
I think it's an amazing program. I have a niece who goes to another school district in the county, and I know for a while she was regularly using her card to buy lunch for another girl. So I know it's something that is not only in this district, it is countywide, statewide, it's national, and I think it's just amazing that you're doing this. And I'm so glad to see you in person because I've heard a lot of great things about Dougie and Ray's, and I'm so happy that you're here and that you're part of this.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I can't do it without my board, without great people like Jeff and Billy and supporters of Dougie and Ray's in the business community and just in the community in general. So, it's all them. And my wife for letting me do it, so, and let me run with it, so.
Well, thank you. And I have full faith in Mr. Madden and Mr. Smith and Mrs. Lane to implement this to be effective. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Smith?
Okay, our next presentation is a school spotlight on Creekside and Crossroads Middle School. I'll turn it over to Carrie Franchini and Dave May.
Good evening. Thank you, members of the board, for this time. I know Mr. Main and I really appreciate the opportunity to share one of our programs with you. So the program that our students are going to be sharing with you tonight is our Hope Squad program, which you may remember from about 2 years ago. We did an introductory presentation, but now that it's implemented, we wanted to share with you what they've been working on.
Thank you. Hope Squad is an organization that serves to prevent teen suicide, and our goal is to bring awareness to teen suicide and depression. Students in Hope Squad serve as communication between afflicted teens and adults that can help, because many times students with depression won't go directly to a school counselor or someone that can help them. In the past year, Hope Squad has helped many students get help with their depression, and we hope to continue spreading a positive message throughout our schools.
We were nominated to be in Hope Squad by our classmates. Students in our class chose us by people who they could trust and talk to. In advisory class, we got cards and we picked 3 people from our grade. Then teachers rallied how many votes students got, and they were on it.
Some of the things we did last year in Hope Squad were we passed out lifesavers because that's like one of our main logos. We dispersed pieces of hope around our school for kids to find to make their day better. We wore sunglasses to block out the negativity. And we also went to Hope Squad conferences where Hope Squads from around the country got together and we learned different procedures like QPR, which stands for Question, Procedure, and Refer, which we learned to help further our knowledge with kids with depression and teen suicide.
Thanks again for giving us the opportunity. I just wanted to highlight a couple things that we're trying to do together as the 2 middle schools, but as you guys are maybe not aware of, but this is something that's going on with a lot of school districts and a lot of schools in the area. I've had the opportunity to do a little comparing to other programs, and I'm happy to tell you that we've been able to implement some of those things and continue to let our kids grow. And if it weren't for the fact that we had the support of obviously you guys, but within the building, and we are lucky to have 3 advisors who have really, really enjoyed being a part of this. Unfortunately, they're not here today, but I just wanted to mention them. Jessica Dukes, Sandy Lang, and Michelle Osborne are the 3 that really have, been the front runner of all of this and engaging the kids into this, this activity. So I'm going to turn it over, and we're not nervous at all. All right? Isla, are you going first? Or Ayla? Ayla, sorry, Ayla.
Hi, my name is Ayla, and this is my 2nd year in Hope Squad, and today I'll be talking about what we do in our meetings. The main thing we talk about is QPR, which stands for Question, Persuade, Refer. Some other things we do are Motivational Mondays, where on Mondays we say a motivational quote on the announcements. We're also trying to do a Hope Week, where every day for a week we do something that represents Hope Squad. Another thing we're doing is trying to make us known, because last year we weren't that known in Hope Squad. So this year we started off by hanging up posters around our school to make us known. And honestly, being in Hope Squad has made me a way better person, knowing I can be trusted by my own peers.
Hi, my name is Daniel Marsh, and I attend Crossroads Middle School, and I've been in Hope Squad for 2 years now and enjoy every second of it. Today I'm going to be talking about the future and what we want to do with Hope Squad. As a team, we really want to be known at our school and help people who are going through something difficult at the moment. To help us get known, we would like to have a designated room for Hope Squad where people can go if they need someone to talk to. I really do love the Hope Squad program because it helps students who are nervous or scared to talk to an adult and would feel more comfortable talking to someone their age. We can't forget that we would also want to get hoodies as we progress Hope Squad.
Hi, my name is Jada Insprecher, and I'm in 8th grade. I'm 14 years old, and this is my 2nd year in Hope Squad. Hope Squad is really important to me. I've helped many students at Fairfield with their suicidal thoughts and feelings and have been able to get them the help they need. It makes me really happy to know that people trust me and that I help people every day become their better self. It has changed my life in a positive way. It makes me more positive knowing that people are being positive in our school, like our Hope Squad team is helping people, and it lets me know that everything's going to be okay. And it has made Fairfield City Schools a better place, and I will continue to do Hope Squad until I go to college. Hope Squad makes me a better person every day, and I can't wait to let it grow and see how it turns out and how much people can be affected in the future by this. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the board?
I'll go first again. So fortunately or unfortunately, mental health is not just through middle school or high school. So I'm proud and hopeful that the skills that you're learning, you will continue when you are in college and you're an adult, and you will continue to be a place that people, even when you're my age, if there's somebody that you know that has some mental health problems, that you can, those skills that you're learning, I know right now they feel like they're for today, but they're for forever. So I'm so appreciative that you are learning them, and I'm so thankful that you are there to help your classmates and the people down the future that you don't even know yet that you're going to help. So thank you guys. And you did a great job. I know it's nerve-wracking getting up on that podium, but you did a great job.
Any other comments?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh,
Go,
go ahead,
please.
Brian.
You sure? I just want to say, I think Principals Franchini and Maine are doing an unbelievably great job at our 2 middle schools. You've stabilized those schools, you're doing great things there, and certainly this is an example of it. You can't do it all yourselves, and as she so eloquently said, sometimes that peer-to-peer contact is far more important. It's certainly going to be that first outreach. And so this is a great program. Thank you for what you're doing within the program, and thank you for implementing it.
I just want to echo those comments of my fellow board members, but I can definitely say that this is a great program. I'm so grateful for your administrators there, Mr. Main and Mrs. Franchini. Thank you for what you're doing, and also the advisors that are working on the program. You never know who you're going to be able to help. And with programs like this, that's definitely a road to hope. And I definitely have to say, I love your branding.
And your yellow Crocs.
That is so cute. Who came up with that? Did you guys come up with the branding yourself? The logo there? That's really cute with the lifesaver. Well, it's really cute. This is really important work. Thank you for what you're doing, and wish you all the success. It means so much to everybody, literally. Thank you.
Yeah, sort of to echo what they said, especially what Mr. Begley said. You know, it's easy when you're an adult to tell a kid, everything will be great, you know, just get right through it, push through it, it'll be fine. But when you have somebody that's your own age or in your own situation talking to you, it's a completely different story, and it seems to resonate better. And I think it's remarkable that you all are involved in that, and I think you're helping a lot more people than you even realize. So I think you should all be very proud of yourselves.
Yeah, thank you all very much. Appreciate your work. It's great. It's some very important work. So thank you so very much. Keep it up. We could take this opportunity. You do not have to stay for the rest of the board meeting if you don't want to. You can head out. We have not a really lengthy agenda, but it is pretty boring stuff, so feel free to head out. And thank you all for coming tonight.